Hey, everybody. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Dr. Jeff Prickett. I'm the principal at McHenry High School East Campus. We are thrilled that you're here joining us tonight for junior night at our live stream event. We're so thrilled that you're out tonight to learn for your juniors about what next steps are. And so here's what some of the things you'll be learning are tonight. Counselors will be discussing for you high school graduation requirements. You're going to hear about SAT prep opportunities. You're going to hear about the senior course selection process, which will come up sooner than you know it. I know it's hard to believe that your kids are juniors and it's only November, but that's going to come up pretty quickly. Post-secondary options, whether it's technical college, employment, military, trade school, university, whatever your options are, whatever your juniors are thinking about right now, we're going to go through some of that for you tonight. The college search and application process and the timeline for that, because that starts right now. I remember thinking when I had a junior in high school, I've had a couple of them, but it was hard to believe that as juniors, it's a critical moment to start thinking about that and talking about that. And then, of course, financial aid basics. So whether or not you think you're thinking about college, you're thinking about university, you're thinking about post-secondary, you're going to want to learn something about financial aid basics. It's critical, and the time to learn that is now. So let me introduce you to the team without further ado. We have with us tonight, well, not tonight, but I'll first go over Mrs. Potoff, who could not be here tonight. She's the principal at West Campus, and our Director of Special Services, Mrs. Shea Gabor, who are also not with us tonight. Mr. Curtis Menke, one of your East counselors. There he is, Mr. Menke. Thank you for being here tonight. Also, Mrs. Frederick. She's here with us tonight. Hello, Mrs. Frederick. Those are your two counselors over on the east side of town. On the west side of town, we have Mr. J.R. Boshin. Hey, Mr. Boshin, good to see you. Mr. Myers. Mr. Myers, how are you, Mr. Myers? There he is. Miss Stephanie Zarignana. She's coming in. There she is. Miss Nicole Bacigalupo is here with us tonight as well. Hi, Nicole. Mrs. Caitlin Schock. Miss Schock is here with us tonight. She's coming in. Maybe, nope. Hey, Miss Schock.
I can't match Miss Schock on that. Miss Schock is a plant in the crowd tonight, Doctor.
Thank you. Okay.
Transparency.
No worries. Thank you. But Miss Schock is there at West Campus, and she is available to you. Miss Sarah Sadler is with us tonight, though. I know that. Miss Sadler, how are you, Sarah?
I'm good.
All right. And finally, Mrs. Jenna McLaughlin. Jenna is here with us tonight. There she is. All right, everybody. All right. So that is our team from both the east and west sides of town, your administration and counseling teams. Again, I'm very pleased that you're out tonight. You're going to learn a lot in a very short period of time, after which share the news. This presentation will be posted on the website and on our Facebook page. And if you have any questions at all, you can contact the people who are on the screen at this time. Mrs. Frederick, I'm going to turn it over to you at this time.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Like Dr. Prickett said, we are going to be going through a bunch of information tonight, but this will be available to reference. So I'm going to start off by talking about the timeline from now until graduation. And graduation might seem like it's a long time away, but it's really not. If you think about it, first semester's almost over this year, which means you have almost completed 5 semesters of high school. And that means you only have 3 semesters left. So in those 3 semesters, a lot is going to happen. And it's going to go quickly, but we're going to be here to help you. So I'm going to try to go through just some of the main events or the action items during the next 18 months. So everything for junior year, we will discuss in more detail in this presentation. Juniors are going to prepare for and take the SAT. We recommend that juniors try to visit colleges, which I know is a complicated thing right now, but many colleges are doing virtual tours. So we still recommend that juniors try to visit colleges and meet with college admission representatives. And really during this year, we want juniors to be narrowing down their options for what they want to do after high school. So post-secondary options. Juniors will be selecting their courses for senior year and taking other assessments as appropriate. So some students might be taking advanced placement tests, some students might decide to take the ACT, and all this can happen during the junior year. Then by the time senior year comes, this is really when those plans are going to go into motion. So starting right off, beginning of senior year, college applications open up in August. So students are going to be submitting college applications, finishing up any college visits or meeting with admission representatives that maybe didn't take place junior year. Some students consider retaking the SAT. Maybe you weren't happy with your score, you feel you can improve on your score, or maybe there's a certain scholarship you want to have and that requires a higher SAT score. So this is something that you can do senior year. And then seniors also have to now focus on financial aid. So applying for scholarships, completing your free application for federal student aid. And then come second semester senior year, that's making decisions. So maybe you're comparing colleges that you've been accepted to, finalizing scholarship applications, and then really making your final decision. So like I said, a lot happens in these 18 months. So we just wanted you to be aware of what's to come. And then going on to the SAT. All right. So the SAT, all juniors are going to take the SAT at McHenry High School on April 13th. That is a school day. And parents often ask, do I have to register my son or daughter? No, all juniors are signed up and they are going to take the test during the day. For many students, this is very overwhelming, a daunting task, and we know that. So as a district, we offer various opportunities to help students prepare for the SAT. Ms. Sadler in a little bit is going to talk about the Zaps SAT prep and Khan Academy prep. Those are two great opportunities for students to take advantage of throughout junior year to help best prepare them come April. In January, we are going to be having all juniors take a practice SAT here at the school. And what's great about this is students are going to be in the environment that they are going to be taking the April test. So we hope this helps students become familiar with what to expect come the April test date. Students will know how to, or know what the test will look like, the format, what the timing's like, and hopefully this will decrease their anxiety come the April 13th test date. Another thing that students can do their junior year is take a national SAT test. And in order to do that, you have to go to the College Board website and register. These tests are on the weekends and outside of our school. The one thing I will mention about this is if you are on free or reduced lunch, you can speak with your counselor and we can get you a fee waiver so you do not have to pay for this test. And so at this time, I'm going to pass it over to Ms. Sadler, and she is going to be talking to you about SAT prep opportunities in our district.
All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Ms. Sadler. So like Ms. Frederick was talking about, we have so many resources here at school to help you get ready for the SAT because it is a big part of junior year along with grades. So one program we have is called Zaps, and it is a two-part seminar to help you focus on test-taking strategies for the SAT. It's only $50 here at McHenry High School. Typically, it costs about $95, so it's very, very good price. And also, it is taught by our trained teachers here at McHenry High School. So in that picture, you can see the teachers that will be there. There's a math and then there's an English session. So you would pick the date or the weekend that works best for you, and then you would go to the two-part session. Basically, it helps you learn tips to take the test. different strategies to eliminate wrong answers. And there's a short practice test that helps you even with the questions and get more experience and comfortable. Those who, do more practice typically go into the test with less anxiety or feel a natural comfort with the questions because they've been exposed to the questions more frequently. So that alleviates a lot of test anxiety. You can register. There's a link right there, and this is also going to be posted for everybody. Also, this is going to be through Zoom. Obviously, in the past, it was held at the school, but this is still going to be a great way for the students to have access to the teachers, and it's going to be run exactly on those weekends. If you do qualify for free and reduced lunch, you can sign up for free as well. So that $50 fee will be waived. And once again, the forms are available on Schoology and the district website. All right, so we understand that this is also a very stressful time for most students in general, just keeping up with the digital learning. So we want to give some incentives to help motivate students to do their best with testing. All juniors who achieve the following will be entered to win some really cool prizes. And if you tuned in a few weeks ago, we were Facebook Live and did showed some prizes for the last year seniors and what they won. Some seniors a senior won a PlayStation 4. There were earbuds, also a Bluetooth speaker. We had $100 Amazon gift cards. I mean, they were really, really good prizes. And so this year we are doing the same thing, and it lists the prizes right there. And then on the top, it shows you what it takes to earn the points. We also have what's called Scores Rise a Latte. So data shows that the more times you take the SAT or at least practice, the better you will score. And that's just natural practice, as in you just get more comfortable with the test. So when students register and take the March 13th SAT, our wonderful administrators are going to buy you a coffee. And also, that will just give you even more practice before that official school date SAT in April. If you look at the prizes, they're pretty awesome. You could get 2 prom tickets, a parking pass for the year, $100 Amazon gift card. That goes a long way. The wireless earbuds we have again for this year, the Bluetooth speaker, and then once again, the PlayStation 4. So it's so worth it. Another thing we need all the juniors to do is to join our Khan Academy account, which the next slide is going to go more in depth about. So Khan Academy is the official SAT practice website. Every student should have an account, and it's attached to College Board. They link. So when you go on to Khan Academy, you take some SAT practice tests, and they're personalized to you. They're interactive, such as there's practice questions, videos, lessons, and hints to help you study. And then there's also an official test on there, like a diagnostic test that has the real practice test questions, and you can get a feel for the actual full-length test. And then you get instant feedback. So the more you practice, you'll get feedback on the areas that you are really strong in, and then the areas that you might need more improvement, so that you know where you stand. And you have to link your Khan Academy with College Board so that it personalizes to you and that your scores are based on your practice performance. All juniors can access course sign-up information in a Khan Academy through their Schoology. We do have a Khan Academy junior group. It's called, we have one at West and East that we have a code that all juniors need to sign up for. It's mandatory. And that is another way that we keep track of your practice minutes. So the more minutes you have, the more entries you get into the prizes, and more likely you are going to win one of those awesome prizes. So just make sure you go on to Schoology and see that course code, and we will look that and make sure everybody has signed up. If we don't see you sign up, we'll reach out and make sure that you get connected. All right, and I believe the next slide is Ms. Zaranana.
Hi. Thank you, Miss Sadler. So I'm Miss Arignana, like Mr. Prickett so beautifully pronounced, and I'm here just to talk a little bit about our Distinguished Warrior Program. So this is a graduate program that's been a part of the school for quite a few years now. And I want to say it was last year where they kind of changed it up a little bit. So this is just a very nice distinction that students will, that Warrior graduates can be publicly recognized during the high school graduation ceremony. This type of distinction, and there's two kinds that I'll explain here in a little bit, is a way to kind of really embody and really motivate our students to succeed and do well here through their 4 years of high school. It's definitely one of these this type of program is definitely something that'll kind of encourage and help most certainly our juniors, because we know that junior year is one of the toughest years of high school. And so hopefully attaining this type of goal and this type of distinction for graduation is a good motivational factor that can come into play. So there are two-tiered distinctions that I'm going to present. The very first one is what's called there's the Distinguished Warrior. So this is students will receive what's called an orange stole with the warrior emblem. In order to obtain this distinction and be publicly recognized during the ceremony, students will have to have achieved by the end of their senior year a 2.8 GPA. They need to have at least a 95% overall attendance for the junior and senior year. 1 ELA and 1 math indicator from I will show on the next slide in a moment here from the table, and then 3 career ready indicators between their junior and senior year. Again, this will be on a table that I'll show on the next slide. No in-school suspensions, no out-of-school suspensions, and no code of conduct violations. So what's cool about this year is that, again, there's not just one tier of distinction. There's actually what we put into place of a more higher level one, which is called a Distinguished Warrior Scholar. So this stole will have, again, the warrior emblem, but will also have scholar embroidered on that as well. And they will be able to wear this over their gowns at graduation. So in order to attain this type of distinction, they will have to have met all of the criteria that I just listed for a distinguished warrior, in addition to obtaining a GPA, so a grade point average of 3.75, and then an SAT score of a 1400 or an ACT score of a 30. So again, this is definitely great distinctions that we have in place, and we know a lot of students get really excited and are always on track, keeping up to date on how they can obtain this type of distinction during graduation. They're able to view kind of their progress on their Warrior dashboard, so they have access to that as well. If we move on to the next slide, this is where it'll kind of indicate the additional indicators and academic indicators that students need to obtain in order to receive this distinction. So at the very top, we have what's called Distinguished Warrior Career Ready Indicators. So these are opportunities and ways for students to earn this distinction. They need to have obtained at least a minimum of 3 from the items listed on that top portion of the box. It's a little bit small on my end, but I can still see it. So either be involved in an organized school extracurricular activity for 2 or more, have accumulated 25 plus hours of community service, taken a pathway or what's called a capstone course here during their high school years, career development experience, so either they're working, they've completed a practicum or an internship, industry certification, so again, following along kind of with those pathway type classes, we have various dual credit courses that offer students the opportunity to be awarded, or obtain certificates. Military service or have completed the ASVAB with a score of a 31 or above. Taken a career dual credit course, so where they've earned credit not only for high school but college credit as well, and have successfully passed that class to earn that college credit. And then, similar to what I explained earlier, at least 12 months or a year of a consistent employment or a consecutive summer employment over the course of their high school career. On the bottom half of this table, you'll see what's called, these are our academic indicators. So this is what I was making note of earlier of what students need to obtain to earn this distinction. To the left, you'll see English language arts indicators. Students need to have obtained at least one of these indicators, either through their SAT standardized test, ACT standardized test, or any of the dual credit courses in English that are listed here. To the right, you'll see a mathematics academic indicators. Again, students need to have obtained at least one of these. So a particular score on the SAT standardized test, ACT, or have taken like a dual credit math course, again, earned college credit and high school credit, and then any advanced placement course, or again, a grades in a particular grade within Algebra 2 is also listed on there. AP scores as well come into play and must be prior to senior year to account for any of these academic indicators. I believe I will now introduce Mr. Boshin, who will be introducing the next slide.
Why, thank you, Stephanie. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the course selection timeline. And it's really hard to believe that we're already thinking about senior year, or maybe for some of you, it's a relief. The end of January is going to be the time frame that we're looking at for juniors to complete the course selection process. The good news is that not much will be changing in terms of the process. Everything is going to be done on Skyward, which is what we used last year. The counselors plan on walking everyone through this course selection process and providing the needed supports to complete the course selection process. So we want to make sure that everyone is aware that there's going to be some information forthcoming, and it's going to be in the form of posts on Schoology, Zoom hours. It's going to be posted on the school website, and just meeting with students independently. We have already posted our curriculum guide on the school website, so you guys can actually go and check out some of the really interesting new courses, and be sure to talk about those at any of the holiday meals that you have forthcoming. In the next slide, I'm going to touch on the NCAA requirements for student athletes. And so really this slide is specifically for our student athletes. Some of the big takeaways: the core subject areas are going to be English, math, science, social science, and world language. And so those GPAs are going to be required from courses within those core subject areas. Junior year is really the year that our student athletes want to register with the NCAA, especially if they're planning on, playing at the Division I or Division II collegiate levels. I know that within the NCAA clearinghouse site, they have made some adjustments due to COVID. Many of the eligibility requirements have been on a sliding scale in the past, and now they are specifically looking at more GPA requirements. So you can go ahead and check out the changes on their actual website. Moving on to the next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about the senior year course selection. And so from the college admission purpose, or from the college admission standpoint, really, classes and grades really matter. We're seeing that this year as colleges are trying to figure out how to admit students based on the data that they have. Classes and grades really tend to stick out to them. And so we want to make sure that students are continuing to challenge themselves appropriately. I know that many of my colleagues have heard from college admission reps, and college admission reps make it a point to tell us when they have to rescind admission to students based on their school performance. So things like poor grades, easy classes, lots of study halls, dropping courses, those can really impact an admission decision. And, I just feel like I should also make the plug here for admission being rescinded due to social media posts as well. We want to remind all of our students to put their best selves forward. And then lastly, I'm going to touch on dual credit, articulation credit, and really just college credit in high school setting. And so, we do have a partnership with MCC, and, in front of you is a list of the courses that currently offer that dual credit. And for some of these courses, they are taken on our campus. For other courses, they are taken on the MCC's, on McHenry County College's campus. Some of the courses taken do have a nominal fee. Others require a little bit more, like a tuition payment. And they vary, in terms of the credit earned in those courses. If you do have questions about any of these courses, make sure that you're reaching out to your counselor, because some of them do have scheduling implications just due to the fact that the courses are offered at one campus or the other, mainly the MCC campus or our campus. And now I'm going to turn it over to Jenna McLaughlin.
Thank you, Boshen. Mrs. McLaughlin here. We are going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about post-secondary options. So as juniors, you kind of have a lot of questions about what should I be doing after high school, what options are out there, and what is right for me. So here we're going to just discuss all the possible opportunities for you, and we're really here to help you with the information out there and pick the best option for your student. The first post-secondary option that we're going to discuss is military and armed forces, or I should say, or armed forces. So there are several different branches within the armed forces, as many know, and there's a variety of options with each armed forces. So depending on the interests of your child, they really could take this as far as they want to. There is service training throughout all of the U.S. Armed Forces, and there's additional training or education for specific careers within the services. So really, there is endless opportunities for your student within this post-secondary option. So if your child shows interest in this option, I would highly suggest them looking at Schoology for some additional resources. There are a bunch of videos out there. They can kind of just take a look at the videos and see if it is something they are interested in or not. And then all throughout the year, we have recruitment officers between West and East that come into hopefully the building or do virtual, and they'll come and talk to the students, kind of give them all of the information about each different division and let them know answer any questions that they may have. So if your student is interested in pursuing one of the armed forces, I would suggest that they reach out to any of their counselors and let them know so that we can make sure that they get connected with the recruitment officers. And then they can also sign up on Naviance if they choose to. So I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Myers.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. So along with college searching, and that we know that colleges might not be, or college career might not be exactly what you want to get into right away, or you're looking for other options. One thing that we do is we have wonderful partnership with many local employers in town. And with that, we can get some on-the-job experience and some exposure. For example, yesterday I had one of my juniors who might be here tonight, I don't know, but I hooked her up via Zoom with a personal financial officer because she was looking into being a personal financial advisor. And so with me present, they spent a good 15 minutes to a half hour talking about what it's like to be in that position, how to get to that position. So that's one thing to keep in mind, that if your son or daughter, or if you're a junior watching this, and if you want to find out about employers in the area that maybe you could shadow, get training from, talk to, we're definitely there to help make that connection. You can see on their trade schools as well. Many of our students do want to go into a trade, and there's many trade schools, and we have connections with them as well. And so some students are not sure exactly what the trade school entails or what it takes to apply or get into that trade school, and we can definitely help with that. The trade and labor unions have been great. We also have a connection with them as well. One of my favorite things to do is when I get a chance to go visit a plant or a company or a labor union office, where then I can learn about what's available and what they're offering students, because many of them want to recruit McHenry area students to come work for them or be employed by them. And sometimes you can also have your college education help paid for by some of these corporations or trades that are willing to help fund the education and training because they want to retain them as employees down the line. And we do that with the MCC. MCC has been a great partner. Down at the bottom of the screen, you can see ICAT being scrolled across. This is something that these people I deal with on quite a bit, as do all counselors, but we can help hook students up with internships or apprenticeships. They just need to reach out to us and kind of let us know what they're interested in. And then through MCC and their partnership, we have more than 65 local area employers, companies, businesses, manufacturers who are willing to have our students come in and do internships and apprenticeships. Okay, next slide, please. So one of the things right now as a junior that's very important is looking for the right college. One of the things that we are doing is we are trying to get in touch and have been getting in touch with the juniors, asking them for feedback on where they stand right now in terms of the college search, if college is for them. We have programs in Naviance where they can actually put in majors, they can put in the size of the university, they can put the state, they can put the region that they're interested in attending a school. And we have a program where it could match them up to 100%. So you could say, maybe I want to go to a Midwest school. I want to stay around home within like a 6-hour driving distance. And maybe I want to major in physical therapy and I want to minor in dance. And I want to go to a large university, one that maybe is 20,000 or above. Well, we can plug that all into this program and it can come up with 100% matches. And this is where students can start looking at the websites and looking at the schools themselves and seeing, is this a place that I really want to go to? Financial aid and the cost and what sports and the diversity, everything that the college offers, we can help the students navigate through that. So you can have your junior contact us if they haven't had contact with them already and do this. Or if this is a junior watching it now and you haven't reached out to your counselor, you haven't made a connection yet, we're trying to get to everybody as best we can. Please reach out because we definitely want to walk you through that. Okay, and the next slide that I'm going to go through is related to college as well. And these are the admission factors. The admission officers who are the ones who oversee who is receiving admission into the university or colleges, they've come together and they created a list of what they deem most important when talking about college admissions. And I'm not going to run down the whole list here, but you can really see that grades do matter. And grades in all courses, so that would be everything the student takes, all the way from something that has choir, world language, their core academic classes, maybe manufacturing, autos, depending on what they've taken. All of that's taken into consideration. And then there's the college prep courses. So there's actually two GPAs that are calculated. One is for all the classes that a student took, but some of them, which is the core prep, college prep courses, those would be your math, your science, your social science. and your English. And in some schools, they'll include world language in there as well. It depends on the school. So you can see where they rank here in terms of importance. And the strength of curriculum, making sure that you're taking solid classes. The ACT and SAT this year, most colleges have waived that as an admission requirement. We're not sure where they're going to stand when it comes to your junior, but it's important to start prepping, like Ms. Sadler pointed out. Take advantage of those prep classes. And then one thing that I want to get to is the students demonstrate interest. This is something that I really didn't realize how strong this was until my daughter really was going through the process. And I encouraged her to reach out to the universities that she was applying to and talk to the heads of the departments on campus of the major that she was wanting to go to. And it was amazing how much information she received, and also the bling that they send you. Her room is filled with college stuff that could fit a whole corner, but it's useful information to go through. So I do encourage you to reach out to the colleges, make contacts so they know that you are truly interested. Okay. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Bacigalupo.
Thank you, Mr. Myers. Hi, everybody. So junior year is a great time for students and families to start visiting college campuses and meeting with college reps. So students can do all of the research they want on universities. They can look at the website, they can look at pictures, they can read reviews, but nothing is quite the same as when your student steps on that college campus and sees what that environment is like at that university. So there were different kinds of college campus visits. The first is a group visit. So it might be your family and several others who are going to meet with an admissions representative and a student ambassador, and you're going to be able to take a tour of the campus, see what it's like, visit a dorm. Sometimes schools have large events for interested students where they have a whole day and they have different workshops for families. Right now with COVID, those are likely being pushed back through the spring and maybe even summer. There are also individual meetings, so it might just be your family and an admissions representative, so it's a more intimate meeting. Students can also make appointments at the financial aid office to talk about scholarships and aid. Students can sit in on classes if they're interested. Sometimes students can even go eat in the dining hall and rate the food. It's a really great way to explore that school more. We encourage students go visit at least 3 colleges before senior year. Juniors and seniors get 2 days off each year to visit colleges, and those days actually get used up pretty quickly, especially if your student is looking at multiple schools or schools that are in different regions and it's hard to visit them in one day. A tip we have for students is to schedule their visits on days that we have off as a district. So for example, our Teacher Institute days. These are great days to visit because your student won't be missing school. And they're also not visiting on a national holiday when all the college kids are at home. I've had a lot of students go visit during Thanksgiving break, winter break, and they come back and they say, I didn't see any of the college kids on campus. It was empty. It was a ghost town. They don't get that full experience. So definitely take advantage of those days to go visit. We also have college reps that would typically come into the building to meet with our students. Right now we're doing everything virtually, so they're Zooming with our students. If your student would like to schedule a visit, they can log into Naviance, so our post-secondary planning platform. They do that on their Schoology account. The link is there for them to log in, and they see a box like you see on the right that lists all the schools that are coming to visit, and they can sign up that way. The list is also in Schoology, so they can keep up in 2 different ways and see which reps are coming to visit with students. We have a post in Schoology a document that has questions to ask for both college visits and college reps. That way you and your family can look ahead of time and prepare some questions to ask that are applicable to your student. This also factors into that demonstrated interest that Mr. Myers just talked about. So if your student meets with a college rep and then goes to visit campus and then goes to an event, they're just going to get more checks next to their name and their demonstrated interest. They'll be a more competitive applicant because they're showing they're really excited to attend this school. And clearly we just saw that admissions reps weigh that pretty heavily. So it's a great idea to take advantage of these opportunities. Now we can go to the next slide. And I'm going to expand a little bit more on Naviance that I just mentioned. So Naviance is our post-secondary planning platform. Okay, try saying that 3 times fast. We start using it freshman year with our students and talking about big picture things. So the career clusters, we go into their English classes and we talk about different career options so they can use Naviance to explore careers. We continue using it up until senior year. It's going to be very useful when they're applying to college. They need to access Naviance to finish their applications. Junior year, it's very important for the college research process. It's great because you can search a specific school and you can get a whole bunch of data on that school, including location, size of student body, different programs of study, admissions factors. We just met with our juniors for their junior meetings. Again, if your student hasn't met with their counselor, tell them to check their email. I'm sure they have some pending emails from us. And I know from my end, a lot of my juniors feel overwhelmed. Some might know they want to go to a 4-year college, but they have no idea how to start researching what school fits them. And I don't blame them. There's so many different opportunities out there. We always advocate that students take advantage of that survey Mr. Myers was just talking about, the Super Match survey. And they can filter schools based on specific criteria of their choosing. So if your student knows they want to be in a school that has more than 5,000 students, is in the Midwest, has a biology major, and has a marching band, they can apply those criteria and they'll get a list of schools that match based on that criteria. And then often I found students are much less overwhelmed when they're researching individual schools from a list of maybe 15 to 20 than just blindly searching schools. What's great about Supermatch is you can also go in and adjust your criteria. So if you only get 5 results or you get 35 results, you can go back and tweak things and get a more manageable list. Mr. Mankey actually has a really great screencast he posted on Schoology that shows students how to do this Supermatch survey and explains some terms that they might not have heard of before. Actually, it might be good to do as a family so you and your student are on the same page about what they want in a university. In Naviance, students can also favorite colleges. So there's a heart icon they can select to favorite the school, and it saves that college. So if they find one that they're really interested in, they're considering applying to, they favorite it, it saves it in Naviance. And then senior year, when they apply to schools through Naviance, it's already there. It makes the process much smoother. We also have scholarships listed on Naviance for students to apply to. And you can have a parent account as well. If you want to have your own account, feel free to reach out to your student's counselor. We can make sure you're all registered and ready to go. Or you can just see what your student has done in theirs. They can show you their account and you can look that way. And now I am going to throw it back to Mr. Mankey, who is going to talk about MCC.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Good to see you. From our end of things, we see how many people are on, but we can't see you. So unlike a Zoom or a Google Meets or whatnot, a little different for us. But hey, it's exciting stuff doing live streaming. Never thought I'd be into that, but hey, here we are. So I got a couple of slides we're going to do with you here. Let's go back to MCC slide. There we are. So McHenry County College as our district's community college, kind of similar as to the reason why you attend McHenry High School, you live in a geographic area. Community colleges work similar in that there are districts within the state that house community colleges. And so McHenry County College, MCC, is our home district community college. As you can see from the ticker on the bottom, I like to tell students the last C at MCC stands for college. It is a college education. It is not less than. 4-year colleges would not accept their transfer credits if they thought they were less than. And ultimately, for students whose careers necessitate a bachelor's degree, if you start at MCC and transfer to U of I, the bachelor's degree is from U of I. So again, it's not like there's an asterisk there by any means. It's a college education that happens to be closer to home. The only real differences are you're living at home and commuting as opposed to living on campus, and you're probably paying a lot less. So there's basically 2 reasons why someone would attend a community college. Reason number 1 has to do kind of similar as to what Mr. Myers was talking about before with apprenticeships. There are many careers out there where you simply don't need an advanced degree to do that. That doesn't mean that, again, that they're less than. It just means that you do what you need to do that career successfully and receive the appropriate training for that. MCC has over 20 specific career-based degrees there. They include anything from graphic design to fire science to early childhood education, preschool teacher, and on. They also, this is a very underused fact with community colleges, they do a thing called joint agreements, which is where if your home community college does not have a specific program that you might need, you can do this joint agreement and go to the next community college over that has it, but still pay the cheaper in-district rate. I actually have a student right now, a senior right now, who's looking at Harper for their interior design program. MCC does not have it, Harper does, and so my student is likely going to go to Harper through one of these joint agreements and still pay the cheaper rate, as opposed to enrolling directly at Harper and paying a 3 times plus out of district rate. MCC also has over 50 certificate programs, and a lot of these are done in conjunction with apprenticeships or other similar educational pathways. The other reason why someone goes to MCC is the one that most people are more familiar with community colleges, and that's transferring. So again, you can do up to 2 years or 60 college credit hours at MCC and then transfer those to a 4-year college. Most credits from MCC are transferable. You always want to make sure that you're working with their advising team there to make sure that the classes you take at MCC will in fact transfer to certain 4-year schools. For students who might be, are more likely to start at MCC, but they know that they want to eventually transfer to a 4-year college, I still encourage those students to do 4-year college research, because it helps to know which schools you might transfer to. I'll give you an example. So let's say, for instance, you have a student who enrolls in MCC, and they know that 2 years from now, they want to be at Northern Illinois University, Bradley University, or the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. It helps to have an idea of where you might transfer to make sure that the credits you take at MCC actually go to those schools. So that student could sit down with MCC's advisors and tell them, hey, in 2 years, I want to be at one of these 3 schools. Let's work together to make sure everything I take here will indeed transfer to that 4-year college. MCC is doing some incredibly impressive things. I'm very proud to have them as a partner at the local level here. They're doing, again, some amazing things. And I have all the confidence in the world in our students who go to MCC, knowing that they'll be taken care of and know that they will receive the same quality education they'll receive there that they would as if they had started at a 4-year college. The other slide I have here tonight are a couple financial aid basics. This is a topic that probably in each of your homes just kind of suck the air out of the room, because this is the big scary one. How do you pay for everything that happens after high school as far as training and education? We're keeping this one really brief tonight because, again, we want to make sure that we're chipping away at this topic in small doses. We could easily turn this into a 45-minute presentation in and of itself. So we're going to give you just a couple of the basics tonight, and certainly we will build on that moving forward. So I have 2 main topics on the screen here. The top one is an acronym called the FAFSA. It stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. The FAFSA is a federal financial aid application that allows students and families to apply for financial aid from the federal government, from the state government, and from every school that a student applies to. The state recently made FAFSA completion a graduation requirement. So that actually starts with our current seniors this year. So for our students to do this, the application's open on October 1st of your senior year. It's all done online at the website we have indicated there. There are a wealth of online and in-person workshops that happen every fall. MCC is a wonderful partner. Their financial aid office does amazing things. We have a couple other strong partners as well to make sure that families are taken care of when it comes to completing the FAFSA, because it does require some information that can be a little confusing or even a little disconcerting to some, such as family tax information. Again, ultimately, the point of the FAFSA is to make education more affordable. The rationale that Illinois had as far as requiring it for graduation was that families who are aware of the real cost of college after financial aid is accounted for are more likely to actually pursue further training and education beyond high school. So again, that's the rationale for making it a graduation requirement. At the bottom of the screen is the other type of financial aid that people tend to be a little more familiar with, and that's the word scholarships. And again, keeping things simple for tonight, scholarships can be located from 3 sources. Source 1 tends to be from the colleges themselves. So as you're exploring schools that are out there, odds are you're going to click on two links when you're on their websites. One would be admissions, which aligns with what Mr. Myers was talking about before. And the other one would be financial aid, again, to see what financial aid and scholarships that school has to offer. Private schools tend to offer more scholarship money because their tuition tends to be higher, because they do not receive assistance from the federal or state governments because they're private schools. They know that since their sticker price is a lot higher, they need to offset that with scholarship money to make sure that they're competitive from a financial perspective with public schools. So you always want to check with the schools themselves. Additionally, we have many local organizations within the community, county, or even at the state level that have scholarships that our students are very strong candidates for. Most of them become available after the 1st of January, their senior year. But we always have very strong partners in the organization who offer, or in the community, I should say, that offer these types of awards, and we are very proud again to partner with them to make sure that that college and post-secondary training is accessible for our students. And the last source of scholarships would be national sources. National scholarships tend to come from organizations, businesses scattered throughout the country. The Coca-Cola Foundation Award is an easy example of a national scholarship. Naviance has a scholarship search engine on it. Linked from the Counselor's Schoology course, we also have a list of reputable and free scholarship search engines. I can't stress this point enough. When it comes to financial aid and scholarships, you should never, ever pay a dime to locate and access free money. There's something very backwards and ironic about someplace trying to charge you to help you find free money that is out there. So again, your counseling team can help you navigate these roads as well. Transitioning to our last slide, and I'm going to slowly start pulling my colleagues back onto the screen here. We are very grateful for everyone joining us tonight. As I pull my colleagues back onto the screen here, slowly but surely, we have a couple of our resources there on the screen. All juniors have a course in Schoology called Class of 2022. Underneath there, you can see the wide variety of resources we have there. Honestly, between the Schoology course and Naviance, we have just about any kind of post-secondary resource covered there. And that includes tutorial videos, links, and anything else that can help you out. And then we also have some different social media feeds there on the right side. At this time, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, or even for the handful of you that might be on Twitter right now, we would invite you can type questions into the comment box in the appropriate platform that you're using, and we can certainly do what we can to answer those. As we see if anyone types any questions in there, Dr. P, do you have any final thoughts or words of encouragement for our juniors and their families?
Thank you, Mr. Mackey. I just want to give a big thank you to all of our counseling staff who is here with us tonight, to the administration in the district, and also just to say to juniors and their families that as we mentioned, and you may have heard a couple times throughout the presentation tonight, it's hard to believe that it's time to start thinking about this now. And we always point out that it's not just college or university that you have to be thinking about. There are so many options and so many things for you to do if you just take the time to reach out to your counselor and talk about some of these things and just ask. Just start exploring the things that you're passionate about and ask questions about that. I think that's the most critical thing that you could do right now. You don't have to have all the answers right now, but you really should start thinking about what you love to do, what your hobbies are, what your passions are, and talk to a counselor about those things, and we'll find something for you to do, to get into a path and direction for you. So thank you all tonight. I do see some questions coming over on the side here, some comments in the StreamYard streaming presentation here, Mr. Menke, if counselors want to take those.
Yeah, I'll take the first one simply because it's at the front of my mind, because I had another parent ask me this question just yesterday, so it's right there. So to my colleagues, if you want to take a look at that next one down from Ms. Fischler with retaking the SAT as a senior. So I got a question from Ms. McLaughlin. The question there is, when do the PSAT scores come in? Our juniors took the PSAT back in about a month ago or so, in mid-October. I had another parent ask me this question just yesterday, so I looked on College Board's website. Those will be made available by College Board on December 7th. So that particular assessment, that's a true standardized assessment that College Board gives. So they are the ones who actually score and post that, not us. And per what College Board has on their website, they will become available on December 7th to all Illinois juniors who took that. If your students happen to put an email address in there right before they took that, when we were doing all the pre-coding beforehand, then they will receive an email notification that will direct them to their College Board account.
I'll go ahead and take the question from Ms. Fischler. Hello, Fischler family. If a student wants to retake the SAT as a senior, the district does not cover the cost. So the school covers juniors taking it and all students taking it their junior year, but then retaking it outside of the district would be a cost for the family.
Also, regarding if you do retake the SAT, if you are on free and reduced lunch, you would want to talk to the counseling department, and we can give you an SAT waiver, but you would have to be eligible for that, which would waive the cost to retake the test.
I'll take the next question. Is there a test in the counseling department that helps to identify a career for a student? Yes, there are several. Actually, in Naviance, we have multiple surveys, just like we have the College Research Supermatch survey. We have some that gear students towards different careers and career clusters. So your student can take those surveys. If they can't find them, they can always meet with us and we can navigate with them and share screens to direct them to those surveys.
I can go ahead and answer the next question from Kim W. Do hours from Key Club count towards the 25 plus hours for Distinguished Warrior? That would be a yes. So like I had mentioned earlier in the presentation, students have access to what's called their Warrior Dashboard, where they are able to see those academic and college and career ready indicators, and from the dashboard is where they would log their hours in of service and participation and what they did outside of the school, as well as outside of the regular school days, and that those hours do in fact count towards DW.
All right, we'll kind of pause one more time, see if anybody else types any questions into the chat. Again, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, we see those questions and we can populate them right here. I'm going to feed my ego right now, Mrs. Cohn. We appreciate the thumbs up, because there's nothing that says counseling like a healthy ego. Ms. Paddock, we appreciate it. I see another question is populating there. I will talk to Stahl to give my colleagues some time to read that question. And I'll go ahead and throw that up on the screen now.
I'll go ahead and take that. So is there anything that needs to be done differently for students looking to graduate early? I would say what needs to be done is being very proactive in your academics and planning. So students that graduate early still have to fulfill all the graduation requirements of the students that stay for 8 semesters. So it's just important to take advantage of opportunities to get ahead on earning credits, like summer school, or maybe not taking study halls. So I would definitely have your son or daughter meet with their counselor to make sure the 4-year planning is taking place.
See a couple other comments are rolling in here. We'll give a last call for any questions. Again, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you can just type right into that comment box. Whatever the platform is you're watching on, type it in there, and we will see those questions and address them. Ms. Quint, you are quite welcome. Mr. Boshin, what's your favorite part about being a school counselor?
You know, it's really interesting to watch kids kind of transform from freshmen that are kind of unsure of themselves to seniors that have some direction and kind of a plan to go about their lives. I find that to be really, really rewarding.
All right. Oh, and I see we had one more question. We've got a couple more rolling in there. There's a reason why we do that. Ms. Spencer asks a great question. Information about English 151.
I could answer that for Alexandra. So 151 is a dual credit for seniors. If you get a C or higher, you get 3 credits that you can use in college, particularly at MCC, which could also transfer to other colleges if they have that specific course code that they can use. The information for English 151 can be found in our curriculum guide, which is in our Schoology page for the class of 2022. It's on our district website. And if you go to the MCC website, it's called the High School Plus program, where you can also find more information about courses that can be offered in school at the high school, but you get the dual credit once you graduate. So the next question said, could you explain the dual credit classes more and when they're offered? We do have several dual credit classes that some we do offer in the school. We do have a list and it's been expanding. As you can see, we have a lot here. So if you typically get a grade C or higher, then you can get up to 3 credits per semester that you can use at MCC and possibly other schools. So if you did like a year-long course such as 151, which is English, and then 152, you would get 6 credits. So it's a full year. And then we have some trades also like metals, manufacturing, culinary management. So a lot of career tech classes, fire science, those also offer dual credit. We do have some that are not offered at the building. So if you did like the fire science, emergency medical service, criminal justice, fitness instruction, we have a nursing, basic nursing. Those are actually at MCC. You earn credit with us, but you go there and then you earn credit with them. And those you can actually get a certificate and start working right when you leave high school. So for example, basic nursing assisting, it's 1 semester, but those students graduate high school as a certified nursing assistant. And same for the other 2, like fire science, fitness instruction. You can work and be certified by the time you graduate high school.
I see Mr. Kesey. Oh, sorry, was somebody going to jump in there?
I'll handle that one, being the former English teacher that I was. College essay assistance, absolutely. You can get help with that. If you want to come and talk to your counselor, the great thing about the English 151 class, that one of the, in the college composition non-honors class, one of the requirements is to write a college essay. Miss Dietrich in the district is certified to teach 151, and 152, which means that She can teach at the college level as well through MCC. And she does a lot of proofreading. She does a lot of assistance with that. And you could come to any of your counselors. And I also have taught the college essay for more years than I wish to count. So I can help with that arena as well. If you want to reach out, if you're students at East Campus and I'm a West Campus, Ms. Frederick or Mr. Mackey can always get them hooked up with me, and I can assist them with that. There are many different college essay prompts that you can receive from either a common app or the school itself, or some schools let you choose what you want to write about. There are some wonderful videos out there on YouTube, but there's also some on some of the national college testing websites as well that you can go to. So please reach out to your counselor, and one of us will definitely get you some help with your college essay writing.
Yeah. I'm going to tack just a tiny bit on there too, Mr. Myers. In Schoology, we have a page in the Schoology course called College Application, and we do have some extra resources in there and tips on essay writing as well. So you've got a couple more questions that have come in. I'll pause before addressing this next one. Again, we thank and are very grateful for everyone participating tonight. If you asked a question, we will stick around and answer that. Of course, everyone who's on this is welcome to stick around as long as you would like. We will continue to address questions. But again, if you're waiting for the football game to start, I get that, and you want to go watch that. But we will keep taking questions as long as people keep posting them. So Mr. Bates has a question about colleges in the Midwest, and I thought I heard somebody else start to talk, so I will stop doing that. Rock, paper, scissors.
I can take this one. So college application deadlines are going to vary from college to college, not just within the Midwest region. Some schools are on a rolling application, which means that they continue to admit students based on whether or not they have room or space within that particular college. Some of the larger schools, just due to the sheer volume of applications that they have to go through, they have more of a firm deadline. So I would say it definitely depends on the school that you're looking at.
I could go ahead and take the next question about dual credit. I'm going to kind of just summarize that, but the question was, are we looking to offer more classes as dual credit, such as AP Chem and AP Calc? Great question. Some very exciting news. Next year, we will be offering a dual credit honors chemistry class. So yes, Ms. Fischler, that is in the works. And I think our dual credit offerings just continue to increase every year.
There is, in our Schoology course, we do also have a link to a tool the College Board has that will show you what the credit outcome is per college based on how someone scores on an AP test. So for instance, if someone as a freshman took the AP Human Geography test and scored a 4, and you want to see what Northern Illinois University gives for that, you can look that up right there. So we have another good question that just came in regarding Project Lead the Way classes. I'll just continue talking. Coincidentally, I was actually talking with a couple of freshmen about this today. Project Lead the Way is doing what they can to, at times, align credit or high school performance with credit. We do have another link in Schoology. Kind of starting to sound like a broken record a little bit there, but we do have another link in Schoology under the college research page that will show anyone who's interested what colleges may either grant credit or possibly bypass certain classes in college. So again, that tool is there in Schoology. All right. Well, again, at this point, we're grateful for everyone participating. We hope that you enjoyed the show here. It was our first time using this tool. Hopefully, we were able to fake our way through with enthusiasm and insight. Again, if you have any lingering questions, contact your counselor. We are here to help and support, especially now with everything that's going on. Your students have bright futures ahead of them, and we are so excited and enthusiastic to help them get where they want to be in a year and a half, and hopefully help take a little bit of the stress off you as well, parents. Take care and have a great night.
Thank you, everyone.